Punchline culture, because that's, I think, something that is very prevalent this time of year. Some of you are asking, JD, what is punchline culture? You kind of say that a lot. You tweet that a lot. What does that actually mean? Punchline culture is something that runs rampant this time of the year, where there are people who just, quite frankly, want to win Twitter. Like, they want to have a tweet that goes viral because they were able to make fun of somebody or some other team, and that got a lot of likes and that got a lot of retweets, and they felt good doing that. Well, the thing about punchline culture, especially during this time of the year when you're projecting for the future, there's a chance now that those receipts come back to bite you. And I think there's a couple of teams, a couple of people right now that are the punchline for a lot of different jokes that I think may have some receipts to turn back in a matter of months. Let's start with Ryan Day. Ryan Day, a lot of folks, what's the punchline people like to say about him? He was born on third base. He's just successful because the Ohio State brand, Urban Meyer, left him a Ferrari, and he's driving it into a wall. They can't beat Michigan. A lot of punchlines, a lot of jokes being made. Well, if we're not careful, we're going to forget that Ryan Day actually brings back a top 5 defense in the country, and they added the best player in the transfer portal, Caleb Downs. We're going to forget that he added, I think, an upgrade at quarterback in Will Howard from Kansas State. They had a starting quarterback in Kyle McCord that could have come back this season. They said, hey, thank you so much. Can't guarantee you the starting spot. There's the portal. Ryan Day is continuing to push the needle forward. And when we look at what could happen here at the end of the season, I believe right now Ohio State is the betting favorite to win the Big Ten. If they do win the Big Ten, I'll tell you what, Ryan Day will have a mountain of receipts he can turn back into the good folks that were making a lot of jokes about him and have some punchline culture that could once again draw the short end of the stick. Miami, another team that is just getting a lot of jokes this time of year, and it is what it is. I understand it. I understand people want to get retweets. They want to get likes. The thing you hear a lot about Miami, they point to the Georgia Tech game where Mario Cristobal should have taken a knee. He didn't, and people say, well, did they put the knee in the playbook? Did they put the quarterback kneel in the playbook yet? Or they'll say, y'all do this every year with Miami. You overhype them. You drink the Kool-Aid. They were saying the same thing about Texas last year. All I see so far from Miami is a positive trend. All I see from Mario Cristobal and his team since he's been there is slow and steady progress. 5-7 his first year, not great. 7-5 last year, a knee away from being 8-4. They go out and get one of the best quarterbacks in the transfer portal in Cam Ward. I think that line of scrimmage is starting to look a lot more like Mario Cristobal would like it to look when it comes to how his team is supposed to be under Mario Cristobal. The ACC is wide open now. ACC is wide open. Say what you want about Florida State and Clemson. I don't see a clear frontrunner in that conference as of right now. So you factor all those things together and then add in the unquantifiable of what does Mario Cristobal's culture look like in year 3. Probably better than it did the previous 2 years. The young talent they have in the line of scrimmage with Francis Mauigoa and Ruben Bain, I'm just saying, Miami could be set up to windmill dunk on some folks when we get to the end of the season. Punchline culture running rampant right now in Coral Gables, but I'm just saying, keep an eye on the Canes. Slow and steady progress, slow and steady trend. Let's stay in the ACC here. DJ Uiagalelei, man. He's a program guy through and through, has had a lot of things thrown his way throughout the course of his college career, a lot of things said about him since he was at Clemson, even at Oregon State. When he committed to Florida State, there was a lot of people saying, are we sure we want him to be our guy? Listen, there's a lot made about him from his Clemson days, and people are quick to make jokes. Let's not forget now, he left Clemson, and he wasn't the solution at Clemson. There's no way around that. But he left Clemson, and Clemson got worse. Okay, so if he was the problem, and you remove the problem, and you get worse, is that really the problem? Just saying, he went to Oregon State. They averaged 30 points a game. Mike Norvell goes out to the transfer portal and takes DJ Uiagalelei. And keep in mind now, Mike Norvell, if there was anybody that was familiar with his game, it's the coach that's coached against him multiple times from when DJU was at Clemson. And also Mike Norvell, let's not forget this, he helped elevate Jordan Travis quite a bit. Like Jordan Travis was in Mike Norvell's office saying, hey, should I play wide receiver? Ultimately, Jordan Travis ended up having the year that he had last year. Pretty safe to say that Mike Norvell is able to elevate a quarterback's play. So DJU, man, I hope he kept receipts. I think he's going to have a lot of those he can turn in when it comes to the end of the season. Last one I want to get to here, Texas A&M, man. God bless them. God bless the folks in College Station. I was fortunate for all of 15 minutes to work in the local news sector of things in College Station. They love their Aggies, man. That is a die-hard fan base. And there's a lot of folks now that have been making jokes at Texas A&M's expense And the low-hanging fruit is the midnight yell and the way that they get down with their, pregame traditions and all those things. I understand that that's fine. You wear overalls and you make certain gestures. You're going to get made fun of a little bit. But there's some folks saying they're an entitled fan base. Some folks just throwing the 7-5 label at them like it's just a good time. Now, I understand where that's coming from, but the entitled part of it I never really got, because for A&M, we keep saying in college football, hey, if you dedicate resources, if you put the right things into your college football team, you can expect results. So I don't think Texas A&M is entitled as a fan base. I think they're expectant as a fan base, and more power to them. Now, here's the thing about A&M. They've always had what's required on paper. That roster, say what you want to say about them, extremely talented. Yes, the portal has impacted them. They still got a lot of talent on that roster. They're top 20 in the country in returning production. Connor Wegman, I think he's got a very tremendous what-if factor for them playing quarterback. I think he has a lot of unknowns around how good he could be. We've seen flashes from him when he's healthy. I think the A&M offense has a lot of reason for excitement. And perfectly put for A&M, they have a head coach now entering into the fold for them that has exactly what they need. Because what we just said, if the problem's on paper, then what's the solution? Probably something that's not on paper. Or I'll rephrase that. The problem isn't on paper with A&M. They've got a ton of talent on that roster. So the solution, if the problem, I keep getting mixed up here. A&M's got a great roster. They just need the right guy to put it together. Mike Elko very clearly is bringing to the table what I think A&M needs. Structure, culture, toughness, all those things. Now you apply it to that talented roster. Vegas agrees now. 8.5 over-under win total for them preseason. Telling you, okay, hey, A&M, they could be in the neighborhood of a double-digit win team. So I'm just saying, head in a swivel. Head in a swivel for the good folks in SEC country that have been throwing shade at A&M. And I'll say this too. We picked A&M to go 7-5 last season. They went 7-5. I'm here telling you, I don't think this is a 7-5 football team upcoming. I know it's Mike Elko's first year. I do not think this is a 7-5 football team in 2024. But we are in February, so it is what it is. But punchline culture, man, doesn't have a great track record. Last year, this time, we were talking a lot about Brent Venables, a lot of folks making jokes about him being a head coach, and Oklahoma's not playing defense, and they're going to be this and that in the SEC. Like, we'll see what they are in the SEC, but Oklahoma won double-digit wins last year. Punchline culture 0, Brent Venables in Oklahoma 1. I think these teams and these individuals are set up for the same kind of success in 2024. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.